Hi everyone and welcome to the Colour Cave, where we like to play with art stuff. Today I'm bringing you something a little different and I am delighted to announce that I have this with the blessing of Elizabeth of My Artsy Plans. You can check out her Instagram down here and I'll leave it in the description for you as well. Elizabeth is an artist and she is a bullet journal planner and she runs monthly doodle challenges, and the idea is just to get a little bit creative and enjoy some arty type stuff that you can pop into your bullet journal or make it into a spread, but also you can make full-blown pictures, which obviously appeals to me as well. So I contacted Elizabeth and asked her if I could use one of her prompts to show you what she does and to create a beautiful picture for the channel. So for the month of February, she has given us the theme of fairy tales, and today we are going to be looking at the prompt for day number 15, and the prompt is Frog Prince. Now for February, the prompts are every other day, so it's every odd day of the month. So that gives you a little bit of time to think about what it is you want to do. And the reason that I love Elizabeth's prompts so much is because they are open to interpretation, but she really doesn't set any rules. So if you want to make it a simple doodle in the corner of your journal or your planner, then you have the freedom to do that, or you can really get into it and make something beautiful. All that she asks is that you post under the hashtags, again, which will be here, and I'll leave them in the description too, and it's so that she can see everyone's work and get some inspiration herself for her beautiful artwork. She also has a shop where she sells her artwork. Again, I will leave the link in the description, and here it is along here somewhere just now. So if you enjoy this kind of thing, then please check out her Instagram, check out her art, because she is a very talented artist. Alright then, so I am just going to gather everything together. We can head to top down view and you can see what I have come up with for the prompt of Frog Prince. Let's get going. So for this artsy doodle challenge, I am working on Faber-Castell mixed media paper, and that is just because I hadn't really decided on what I was going to do colour wise. And before I got to this stage, I did sketch out a few thumbnails in my sketchbook. So I was thinking about our Frog Prince and really what kind of guy he was. And I started to think about, well, what if our Frog Prince was a sort of sassafras type? Maybe he's a bit of a player, and maybe a bit of some attitude about him, something like that. You know, he's kind of handsome and he knows it. I don't know if that applies to frog princes or not, but I'm sure he must think that he's kind of a bit of a dude. So I kind of took that into consideration when I was thinking about his pose as well, and I thought I'd have him in a slightly more kind of like kick back, look at me pose, you know. He's the kind of like he's the king of his, well, he's a prince, isn't he? He's not a king. Of maybe his lily pad, something like that. So I got him in this sort of nice reclined pose here. So I was thinking about his limbs as well, and it's just not that easy, because normally you probably wouldn't see a frog in this sort of position. So I had to think about the length of each of his limbs, and you know how I was going to sort of translate that into this pose, because this is it's a very humanoid type pose. I also thought it'd be quite cool if or quite entertaining if we gave him a sort of a bit of a paunch, you know. No royalty would be complete without some sort of scepter. So I thought we would carry over this kind of idea, this design for his fingers and his toes, these little circles. I thought I would kind of keep that on the go here as well, and have this sort of claw type scepter, and we could incorporate that in that way. When I'm drawing these digits like this, it kind of reminds me of sea monkeys. I don't know if you remember the original sort of design drawing, you know, the cartoon that went with them. It kind of puts me in mind of that a little bit. Yeah. Oh wow. Also, I think as well, we'll kind of have his crown at more of like a jaunty angle. And keep this sort of circle theme. Yeah, look, he's the dude. What prince would be complete without a big flowing cape to complete that regal look? Okay, let's get some ink down. Actually reasonably happy with my circles for a change as well. It's not something I'm normally very proficient at, is getting a nice uniform set of after me saying about circles. Yeah, good. I'm just gonna add in this highlight here as well. I don't know if that's helped with his smug look or made it worse, but yeah. Oh, now he looks like he's kind of like, maybe he's unsure. Maybe he's insecure of his status as a frog prince. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we should just ask him. Hey, Mr. Dude. No, I'm kidding. Anyway. I do like being able to put in all these little details. I've always preferred a sort of slightly more delicate line width. It's just, I don't know, it's just a preference I have. Not everybody is the same. I think we'll start with some watercolour pencil, and this is unsurprisingly sky blue. I don't want to have a huge amount of stuff going on in the background. I really just want a little bit of colour there and something to give me a little bit of contrast with our froggy friend here. So I'm just putting a really light layer of this down, leaving some gaps. Maybe it's like clouds or something. I am very, very aware that on the camera this looks awful. It always looks a bit rough, but it'll soon sort itself out. That's fine. So we'll start off in this little bit down here. There we go, that's exactly what I was going for. Just a little bit of colour to contrast with what's going to be going on in the foreground. And I'm just putting enough water down to make sure that I get rid of the pencil strokes. This is more of a tint now than actual paint, which is absolutely grand. Just make sure I've got rid of most of my pencil strokes. Again, not really all that fussed, to be honest, if I don't, but I don't want to make the background look like a toddler has scribbled it in for me. You know how it is. There's a fine balance between artistic lines and scribbles. Slightly different shade of blue down here. Again, not taking any particular care, just wanting that little bit of a difference between what's going on in front and what is going on round about. So literally just chucking this pencil down. I think he looks quite content sitting on his lily pad. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Is he a happy frog prince? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I've deliberately gone for a flat water brush here, and it's just to help sort of maintain these patches that I've put in. And keep them all going in the the same direction whilst being able to cover a slightly larger area. Because the water is quite calm, so I don't think there would be a lot of ripples or anything like that, so this brush is particularly helpful. I would like to say that my brush skills are improving because of all the watercolour painting I've been doing, but if I said that I would be lying. I think I'm less frustrated with my painting skills. I think that's probably fair to say. Whether they are improving or not is another matter entirely, but I do still have a long way to go when it comes to, well, watercolours and painting in general, because most of you know, for my more regular viewers, that recently I dabbled in some what I would call proper watercolour painting, and it was met with mixed results and certainly some frustration on my part, but I do feel as if I've learned something from it, and hopefully I'll be able to carry that across. But I definitely can't say that I'm a master of any sorts at this stage, but that's okay. I'd also like to say hello to our new subscribers as well. Recently we passed 800 subscribers, which is really nice. So welcome to everyone who has joined us. That is very nice of you to do so, and I hope that you're enjoying what's going on. I do love how haphazard you can be with these watercolour pencils. It's like, yeah. Normally, you know, when I am drawing, I tend to draw a lot in graphite and only in graphite, so in a sort of monochrome fashion, and the amount of care that I have to take over what I'm doing and the attention to every meticulous detail, it's I enjoy it, I find it very satisfying, but it does become quite tiring, especially if you're working on a piece for a long period of time. I do find this Faber-Castell mixed media paper, as long as you're not absolutely soaking it with water, it does take water, you know, from an aqua brush quite well, quite reasonable, without, you know, too much buckling and things. Again, most of you know as well, I don't actually tape down my paper to stop the buckling. I tape down the paper to stop me moving it about, so I don't do things out of camera shot, really for you guys' benefit, so I'm thinking of you all the time. So you can see there, because I've put this extra layer of the pencil down, that the colour in the foreground here is a lot more concentrated and it is considerably more vivid than the sky, for example. And that's what we want naturally, because it is in the foreground. I have mostly been doing full pictures for the prompts so far, and that is just because I have had time. I did do one the other day and it was just a tiny doodle like in the corner of my sketchbook, but it's just because I was really busy and I didn't have a lot of time in my hands to play about that day, which was is one of those things that happens to you when you're a grown-up and you know you've got to work. We gotta work. After I've used watercolour pencil, sometimes I like to go in with some fine liners, you know, some like coloured fine liners, like the Staedtler Tripos liners, and just add in a little bit more over the top of the dry work. Again, it's not something I do every time, but it's just nice to add a little bit of interest to your finished piece. Now, obviously, using a lot of green in the surround of the frog, I had to think ahead and think, well, what colours are we going to do the frog? And I've kind of gone for more of a sort of aqua colour. And again, I just feel as if it's more kind of fitting with the fairytale side of things. So I'm just going to stick down a light layer of this light phthalo. Still doesn't sound right coming out my mouth. There's some words that with a Scottish accent just never sound right, and I think phthalo's one of them. On the other hand, we do have words that sound great when we say them, like ochre, because we say ochre properly. Ochre. Really funny, when I first started this channel and the first time I said ochre, everybody went nuts in the comments section. And they were like, oh my god, that's how you pronounce it. I'm like, yes, because it's the same as loch. You know, same thing. I'm glad you'll like it though. I want to thank everyone for their comments, you know, when they have said that they really like my accent. That's very nice, and it's the Scottish accent, like anywhere else. There are good colloquialisms, not so good colloquialisms, and some parts are better spoken and better understood than others. And one of the things I was really worried about when I started this channel was, is everyone going to be able to understand me? And so far so good. And as I say, it's nice that some of you have taken the time to comment and say that you actually really like my accent, so thank you. So I'm going to use some reds in his cape and his sceptre and whatnot, and that's just to, you know, sort of change direction a little bit because we're kind of all green here. So I've got scarlet red and deep red here, and deep red it's a colour that I use a lot in the normal polychromos pencils because I feel it's the closest thing to a true red. A lot of the other reds are very orangey or very pinky, and it's one of the shortest pencils in my collection. I wanted to tell you a funny story. I had a set of budget brushes, and I've always had them, and now that I've had a little bit of a go at at watercolouring, and I think I would like to, you know, have another try. One of the things that I wanted to do was buy a slightly better quality mop brush, and I I went online and found a sort of slightly more expensive one. I mean, it's not, you know, like a professional quality artist grades brush, but you know, I spent a little bit more on it, and they weren't in the normal paintbrushy type sizes. They were just small, medium, large, extra large. So the store that I was on had them a lot cheaper than they were anywhere else, and I thought that, okay, let's get it from here, get a little bargain. And when I looked up the brush sizes, they only had large or extra large, and I thought, well, surely, like, if you've got a bigger brush, then it just means you're going to cover the area quicker. So, you know, let's just go all out. Let's just get the extra large one. Well, this thing came, and it was like the size of my head. And I've been working on, at biggest, A5 size watercolour paper. And this brush, like, it literally covered the entire page in like 2 sweeps. So needless to say that I didn't get much of an even wash because I had no room to work with it. And it's like, I thought I could use this as a toilet brush or use it to, you know, like decorate my kitchen walls or something. So that was hilarious because it came in the post, and you know, I opened it up and my husband was there and he burst out laughing, and it must have been the expression on my face because it was just like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do with this massive brush? So needless to say, back to the drawing board. I ordered the smaller one. I eventually got a medium elsewhere. I did pay slightly more for it, but it was much more in keeping with what I needed. So I now have a gigantic mop brush, which I don't think I'm going to be using anytime soon because I'm not brave enough to do a great big watercolour piece, nor am I experienced enough. But maybe one day, maybe one day. I'm gonna have a line here, aren't I? Not quick enough. My brain processing power isn't exactly full tilt at the moment. I'm pretty tired, so just a lot going on. We're pretty busy on the farm. I am in the process of putting together a little video of farm snippets as a bonus video for those of you who take an interest in that sort of thing. So that will be popping up in the next week or so. I know some of you really like to know what's going on, and we are like into a busy time now, so if there's a good time to do it, it's now. We have cows calving, and well, basically everything's just having babies. This is a very simplified version of the gold that I will use. Again, for those of you that follow me on social media, perhaps on Instagram, or you see my colouring pages on Facebook, you'll know that I do use quite a lot of sort of golden brasses and things, and I do tend to stick to the same set of pencils, but I just use them in maybe a slightly different configuration. So they are kind of like a go-to set of pencils. I suppose we all have that for some things though. The other thing that I like to do as well is sometimes is thicken up just around the outline of the focal point of what I'm doing. And it just makes them pop out more. Okay, now that we've sorted out the outline, is looking a bit more interesting. So we are going to go back to this 01, and I'm just going to add in a little bit more detail here. There we go. That is my frog prints for the Artsy Plans prompt from Elizabeth. All that's left for me to do is to sign this. I want to thank you all very much for joining me on this slightly different video, but fun nonetheless. If you've enjoyed it, you can give us a thumbs up because that really helps me out and the channel. If you would like to subscribe to see more arty stuff, then you can do that too. This is my favourite bit now, see peeling the tape off. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's something extremely satisfying about it. And there he is. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gents. Don't forget to check out Elizabeth's Instagram page and also her Etsy shop where she sells her watercolours. I shall leave all the links to these in the description for you. As always, I welcome your comments and a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. You can check out some similar videos here, and you can also hit the subscribe button if you are looking for more stuff from the Colour Cave. Once again, thank you so much for watching, guys, and we shall see you soon. Bye for now.